today we're going to be looking at every single box to box that is at least worth mentioning in some breath, but we've got a lot of top end. Now, depending on what you like, it could be playstyle pluses, it could be are you more defensive than attacking but still box to box type? Do you like a certain height? Do you like a certain skill level? What is that you like in a box to box? Let me know down below. But the way I would see a box to box is having a bit of flexibility with both. I don't necessarily need the best goal scorer at times. Like, for instance, someone like a Jude. He is all-round perfection. Like genuinely, that's probably the best centre mid you can get at this point. He is coming in very, very expensive. And you can see from the stats, he's obviously got a good amount on everything. The pace is outstanding. Like most team of the seasons now, I think 90 seems to be the new kind of just wave. The 92 shooting, that's not on every box to box, but you normally have a decent amount across the board. Passing and dribbling normally is the kind of highest. Then the defending physical tends to be a little bit better than others. So that is kind of like a perfect box to box. You're not going to find much else better than Jude. Now, both of them are incredible from the 96 or obviously the now 97. They've got a bit of a glow up for him. Obviously, he's managed to max out his 99 dribbling. We've also got a little bit more shooting. Defense has gone up a little bit. And he's got the glow up of a technical and ping pass and also anticipate. So obviously with Jude, I think both versions are quite easy to say. They are going in the absolute top category. That is just a standard. Even now, Team of the Years have still got some relevancy if you've managed to get them prior. Are you looking for coins to improve your team? Then you need to head over to lootbar.gg, the most reliable and the best coin service you can find. Also, they have incredible 24-hour manual customer service that you physically cannot find anywhere else. But before finishing on lootbar.gg, make sure you are using JT11 to get 8% off coupon. Once you've gone through the payment, you'll be able to get your coins within the next 24 hours. Absolutely guaranteed. Also, with the code, you'll be able to get 5% more coins on every transaction. Make sure you do click the link either in the description or down in the comment section below. And I do think that is the common consensus when it comes to Team of the Years. They did really well to keep them in the flow. It's like they had literally the whole game plan mapped out, even without knowing the Team of the Seasons. We also had Bonmati. We also have Bonmati, we had Putellas, and also we had Putellas. I think all three of them, the midfield three that we had, were incredible. Now, obviously it was men's and women's Team of the Year, but I think that midfield in itself was absolutely nuts. And I think who was actually the other Team of the Year? Oh, of course, Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne. Now, I'd class them as CAM and CDM, so this is just specifically looking at box to boxes. Obviously, I do try and do a CAM and CDM one as well, so they will be coming very, very soon. If I'm looking across the board as well, we've got a lot of top end that still work there. I must admit, now we're looking back at like a Pedri. Not quite there. He is very much box to box, but as we can see from previous kind of cards, he's been out quite a while. The defense and natural shooting ability is god awful. It's just non-existent. He's got the pace, it's decent enough. Passing and dribbling, very good. Physicality is kind of there, but the shooting and defending is just non-existent. So for me, he would be absolutely down on this list. We then also have someone like an Edison, who you had to kind of gamble with. I think he did a phenomenal job. We knew that the difference between him and Hoffman was that Edison looked good as a 92, but would look even better as a 94. But when looking at Hoffman, in comparison to a lot of the cams that we've seen, I really didn't see anything special, even if they did go ahead and win. So you took the gamble on Edison, and it absolutely paid off. He's a phenomenal box to box. He's got some very, very decent stats. The upgrade has helped him massively. Whether we see another evolution for a showdown, we've got the Champions League ones out now. It could be a possibility, or maybe they just keep it kind of hush-hush because they don't want to give you a 95 for free as well. When we look at somebody like, if we go a bit further down with like a Ruben Neves, I think a solid card most definitely. We're looking at the 92 and it is into the mix, so they've kind of made them into a certain level when it comes to kind of the mixed leagues, trying to make them at least on par with the Team of the Season that we're out with. It's coming in at 48,000, and Playstyle Pluses for a box-to-box is going to have a massive, massive impact. We've seen that stamina, relentless plus, aggression is a big factor with these cards as well. 98 on the aggression. It kind of does show when you look at some of the cards and think, okay, when we look at him actually and think how good he truly was, and you look at these stats, it may not be the absolute be all and end all. Like, don't get me wrong, it's the conspiracy that it works, and it just so happens to work on a lot of top end cards. I suppose that is the coincidental factor for it. But Ruben Neves, not a terrible card, especially for the price, and that's where you've kind of got to go on the factor. Like, if you look at Ruben Neves, for the cost of him, fantastic. Brilliant card. For 48,000, you're not complaining, especially if you are either on a new account, you're just getting into Team of the Season, or you're just not bothering trying to get majors and you want to play with a team, a past and present Wolves, a full Portugal squad, or even a full Saudi squad. It's totally up to you. I think that is the better part of the game, but we'll kind of not break into that. But when we look at him in comparison to a Bellingham, to a Goretzka, Havertz, a Thuram, like, are you really choosing, if you had the option, a Ruben Neves or a Marquisio at this point? I think Marquisio's probably been upgraded, but are you actually choosing him over them players? Marquisio actually hasn't gone up. To be fair, that is going to be one, if we do get Euros, Hero and Icons, is definitely going to get a big upgrade. He's coming in now, and it's pretty bog standard, and it's what we get with progression. A lot of the cards now, there's only a handful that will keep their look. Like Rolfo, at this point in the game, I definitely still put her absolutely up there in the S. She normally is an S+, but she still absolutely works it, and I think the fact that she can play left back, centre mid, she may sometimes be a super sub for me now, but she still rocks that centre mid, and it's only because of packing better players, like for instance your Putellas's, that you're going to replace her. We still see the Hullets. I think now if we're looking at a Hullet, I would probably say the base Hullet now has probably dropped down one, and then we've got the other two that are still up there just about. Even the Centurions, to be honest, is starting to just lose its factor. I always see this 94 Hullet, whereas these two are normally on the bench. You'll see a Hullet name and you know full well he's not putting a 94-5 Hullet on the bench. That just isn't happening. Matthias, another absolutely cracking one. Some icons just don't lose it. It genuinely isn't. Ramirez, on the other hand, I still cannot wait for the actual, the upgrade, the footies version of him, because genuinely this card has had the glow up that we want. He's obviously started off with very good pace, then got a tiny bit more for his UCL hero. We got a considerable amount of upgrade from the fantasy, especially because of the upgrade, and then we want the next level up, because he's kind of serving more as a DM, that's how he's kind of sold, but genuinely as a centre mid, when he does get that stat upgrade, he's going to be on fire. We say the same for Yaya Toure as well, to be honest. I don't know if I'd quite go S+. I think in terms of Yaya, he has a great base stat, but when we actually look at the card and really deep what the card's actually got, you can find it anywhere. He's 6'2". Honestly, I always thought he was taller. I suppose 6'2", still very, very tall. But he's got the 4'4", fantastic. Pace-wise, decent enough for a big lad. He's obviously got a crazy amount of agility balance, and I think that's a big factor in the card as well, is that it's not only that he's 6'2", but he can move as well. That is the big bit about him, and it's what makes him really good as a footies. If you get that 5'5" Yaya at 99, 95, it's going to be absolutely crazy to see, because every stat is above 90. He then just has even more agility balance, even more pace, and it just makes him that incredible player that we know. And it's the same when we see the Hullet. The base is incredible because it's already started. Like, say you've got your progression here, Hullet starts here, and it takes months for cards to catch up. It's only been since Team of the Season that really cards have caught up as such. You've got a handful every now and then. The Team of the Year most definitely was up there with him, but that's it, and they come at an absolute premium as well. Kessler, I'd probably say, is at the bottom, to be honest now. Renato Sanchez, a little bit underwhelming, not gonna lie. I feel like everybody remembers the past Renato Sanchez, who looked absolute balling. He had absolutely everything going for him, and this one was nice. It's a good upgrade, and most definitely for him as a card is a fantastic card. But when we look at the price and we kind of look at what card he's actually got in comparison to everything else, he's very, very standard. There's nothing crazy about him. His price, I think, is relatively decent. I don't think I can argue with that. Coming in at what, 440? We got the 4-4 standard there. Technical long ball pass jockey. It's not the worst card in the world. Like, you could definitely get a decent amount out of him. You're probably looking Shadow more than anything. I can imagine that's probably, that's going to be the vote more than anything. Keeps himself controlled, 98 pace, 95 defending. It's a nice card, but when we actually think of kind of in-game, he's 5'9". Strength-wise is certainly a good thing, but I don't put him in the high regards of the S+, which is where I think that sort of card should actually go. But then I think you could do that with a lot of the team of the seasons. When we look at someone like a Les, we look at a Vermin, we then go further down. Milinkovic-Savic I like, but he's definitely kind of on that Ruben Neves upgrade. We look at a Rabiot. I think they're very similar in every aspect that we've got. And to be honest, to some aspects, a Patry as well. I think everybody else kind of needs something, yeah. So when we look at these cards, they're decent. They're most definitely decent enough, but whether they've got that spark, that's going to be the difference between them. All of them have decent stats, so I'd kind of argue that most of them should be sitting somewhere around here. Maybe you could argue kind of here and there whether like Rabiot should be put down, and I think then it would depend massively on the playstyle pluses, the height of them, because all of them are going to be different. Patry's not going to be tall as Rabiot. Vermin, I believe, is... He looks tall in his picture, but we've seen that absolutely debunked. 6'1". So that makes sense. So how tall is Rabiot? That's the big question here. He is 6'3". Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I knew Rabiot was quite tall, but what about Lees, whatever you want to say. 6'1" as well. Wow. How big is Patry then? It's probably, what, 5'7"? Oh, bang on. Honestly, you'd think I'd play this game for a living. Didn't know that at all. So when we look at them, they're kind of your standards. They're just outside the team of the season. They're decent enough, but they're kind of looking at the cheap side. Everybody wants your Modric, your Vitinhas, your De Jongs, and most definitely I can see why. When we look at previous promos, I think Tchouaméni would still definitely come up there. I think he's a phenomenal player still. Granted, you can now do an evolution to make him pretty much either that same level or more. I can't remember if it's more or the same level. You can make him a 93. So what we got here? You've got Intercept Bruiser, very nice indeed. Then if you went for the midfielder, I can't remember what it is, so you can make a few different ones. So say we go for, is it just a Team of the Season Plus upgrade? Oh, okay. Oh, God. Pitch Contender, then plus Protector, then plus Upgrade. Okay, so you had to go through a fair few. He's going to get the Jockey, Pinged Pass, and Intercept. I mean, that's pretty good, but you'd have had to have gone down a proper line. What about La Liga Team of the Season? Unleashing Potential. So you could make him 91 at the minimum there. So he'd still get Rapid, First Touch, Pinged Pass, decent upgrade on stats. See, that still had more of a box-to-box ability, whereas this one's definitely more DM-based. So you can kind of see the difference between them massively there. But I still think he comes in up there. And to be honest, same with De Jong. I think them two together in the Ultimate Birthday were brilliant. Now, most of the other Ultimate Birthday centre-mids have had an upgrade as well, so it's not just them. But I do think we've kind of gone with the higher versions, like Kalanoglu. He had a fantasy. There's no point putting the fantasy in when you can get the 94 for literally nothing. Pretty sure he's coming in very cheap as well. He's 199. Anticipate, you obviously got the Travella and the long ball pass in comparison to long ball pass and Travella. I think the Anticipate makes a massive difference there. The stat upgrade alone is fantastic, so even just a +4, it's a big upgrade for him, and I think he definitely puts himself. I'd actually go, if we're going to be more real, because not everybody's going to be in this S category. I would kind of go something. I think, yeah, Loftus-Cheek, I'd say that. Gundogan, he's one that always escapes me because I remember his fantasy and I remember thinking only a +2. It just is what it is. But Anticipate holds him, finesse shot, tiki-taka. And again, that's going to be another thing with playstyle pluses. Do you want pace, defending, passing, or do you want passing, defending, shooting? What's the kind of, or you want to go like Bruiser, then shooting and defending, or just 3 defensive ones? What are you looking for in the balance of the playstyle pluses as well? Like we look at someone like a Busquets, even though he's very heavily on the passing, he's more defensive than anything. So I've kind of not included him here, and he would be more in the defensive one as well. When we look at Gundogan, I'd probably put him in that same category. I'd say Mainu definitely goes there. Barella goes there definitely. Fred 100%. Fred should be like down here, but genuinely, what a card he truly is. We then said, where's Gundogan? There he is. He would go there. Capu, I was a little bit gutted by him, to be honest. I thought he was a nice card. The price of him was absolutely spot on. 94,000 for a 93 centre mid. Fantastic. Great upgrade for him. I kind of expected him to be up in the S. I genuinely thought when I looked at the card, the base stats, everything, but then the agility balance hit, it's just not quite up there. The defensive, physical aspect, brilliant, but he just didn't play the way I wanted to. I think he's a great card for the price, but he doesn't hit this topper category in my opinion. And then we look at somebody like a Valverde. Again, to be fair to him, he is up there. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not putting him anywhere other than the absolute top, but I thought he could have been better. I really thought the card was going to wow me. And to be honest, I kind of got wowed more by Vitinha than I did by Modric Valverde. We got the Anticipate, we got the Rapid and Relentless. That's fair enough. But when we look at the stat upgrade, even though the defense definitely got a heavy upgrade, I don't know what I was kind of expecting from him because we already started off on such a good level. Like, you think of the difference between this 88 and then the 96. The upgrade isn't that spectacular, and again, you can't go 95 on every stat, but I kind of expected him to be the one. So he's still phenomenal, don't get me wrong, he is brilliant in every aspect. I don't know what I was expecting from him, I just expected something a little bit better. We have Emery, easily in that S+. Modric, honestly, I think they absolutely ruined Modric from the fact we got the 93 so early. Everybody's had him from the road to the knockout. The Team of the Year Honourable was kind of there. It got the double play style plus, but wasn't it? And then we knew this one was coming. Was spoilt for choice with him. And then obviously Vitinha. I didn't expect Vitinha. He was kind of that one because we didn't, well, at least I didn't see the rating leak from him. I just saw that he was coming. I assumed like, what, a 90, well, he had an 80, an 88. So I was expecting like, what, a 92, maybe a 93. All the way up to 96. The stats are insane. A very, very good card. He's just got ounces of class coming off this card, and he's still 1.7 mil, which is just nuts in itself. Taurum, easy one in there. I love this card. I think, was it last year that we got him? I always say last year, and then before you know it, it's like 3 years ago, and I'm like, okay. So it was this card. So it was last year, even better. The 95 of him, we got the 89, it was kind of that little taster. We're like, okay, the stats are very well balanced. When you normally see a card like Goretzka, how Kimmich kind of gets there in the end, and then you see a Valverde, a Modric to some extent, you're like, this card could be insane with that one more upgrade, which we did get in the footies. Now we obviously see him here, a beautiful upgrade. We saw it here and we thought, okay, the team of the season could be special, and most definitely it truly, truly is. We also then have a lot of icons. Now, when it comes to a lot of them, I would go something along the lines of this. I do like a Xabi Alonso though. I don't know if I could, I'd say as a DM, definitely higher. As a box-to-box, little bit lower. Sauer dropped down a bit in my opinion. I think Abile still puts herself up there. Beckham was phenomenal, but it's all part of the times, and I think Pirlo, as a box-to-box, he's got to be, hasn't he? Kroos, I'd probably go an A+. I think for him, it's a shame that he's missing out on a team of the season, because he really could have done with that upgrade, because when we look at him now, Anticipate, long ball pass, ping pass, phenomenal card, very, very good. But when we look at the stats, you're obviously looking very standard across the board. Passing is incredible, as we should with Kroos. Pace-wise is decent upgrade, but when we look the difference between him and quite a lot of the top end, he's just not up there in my opinion. He's a very, very good card, but I do think with a team of the season, it might have restructured his stats a little bit better. Havertz has got to be up there. Don't know if I'd quite go S+ now, but he's up there definitely. Job, surprisingly, I would say he was quite good. Now, I don't know if that's a factor of his brother coming in, but I actually really liked his upgrade. McAllister, I'd probably go there. I know a lot of people do like that card. I'm not a big fan. I think he's decent, but it's just not quite the box-to-box I personally want. Goretzka can definitely go up into that S, and Stanway can join him. She's a weird one because she works. I don't know how she works, but the fantasy that we got, she was absolutely brilliant. And then the team of the season, even though it was only just a 1 upgrade on top, she definitely got a decent amount of stat upgrades. For just a +1, she obviously got +2 across the board, +3 on the pace, the triple playstyle plus, and a weak foot upgrade. I think it just made that card that little bit more relevant in my opinion. That is going to be my list. I believe everybody's got a fair vote in there. Let me know down below if you agree, disagree. It's always nice to hear your opinions. These are kind of just a snapshot of what I think in terms of box to boxes. I personally use Putellas and Grace, kind of DM based in that middle at the moment. So let me know what your midfield is. Peace.